beautiful, how you doing today? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time joining. And if it is your first time joining, please make sure to hit subscribe. Also, if you'd like to check out my personal journey of when I was in prison, I do have some prison diary entries linked in the description below. Otherwise, let's just get on with the video. So which gay is the most popular in prison? Yours truly. Alright, I'm just kidding. That was corny. But honestly speaking, gay people are actually not the most popular in prison. For like regular people who watch, I think you probably already know where I'm going with this. But I just wanted to give a little bit more details. The actual most popular person in prison is a transgender person. So me personally, when I was in prison, I had only met one real transgender female. Her name was Katrina. I call her Katrina. She had an A cup breast size and a tiny little waist, nice little big fat booty that everybody loved. She literally acted like a chick. She looked kind of like the model Lupita Nyong'o. I hope that I'm saying the name right. But she did. She looked like her. Even though when I used to tell her that, she hated that because she felt like she looked like Rihanna. She's like, Lupita Nyong'o, bitch, I look like Rihanna, bitch. Like, that's how she talked all the time. So, but anyway, everybody loved her. People used to give her gifts all the time. Guys give her money, you know, anything that she wanted. Commissary, clothes. If she had problems with the guys, she had like a team of people that would just, you know, already be fighting for her, you know, handling it. You know, she was just that bitch for real. And she looked like a woman. She sounded like a woman. She acted like a woman. And she showed me pictures from when she was on the outside. She actually was already like in transition when she was out here. She worked as a nurse, and she showed me pictures in her nurse uniform as a woman. Like, she already was in transition. And that's actually how she got arrested. She got arrested. It was called trickery by prostitution was the charge that she had gotten. Homegirl was not only working as a nurse, but then also she was doing a little, you know, hoeing on the side, and she would rob people, actually. Like, not only, she was crazy. Not only did she get a check from, you know, the government, actually. She probably got that government cheddar knowing Katrina. And then she had the nursing, like, job that she did. Then she also got paid for sleeping with guys. And then if she knew that they had extra money, you know what I mean, like probably just like some cash, you know, sitting around or in their wallet or in a drawer or something like that, she would rob them too. And this particular guy that she ended up with, not only did she rob him for like $3,000, but he thought that she was an actual bona fide woman. And, you know, she hadn't gotten her reassignment surgery yet. She did have breasts, but she still had a penis. And that's why, you know, the guy obviously took her to prison. And she got 8 years. But anyway, people like that are always the most popular in prison. So that supports my claim of how I'm always saying, like, it's not really real homosexuality. They're looking for guys that remind them of women. I only met her, but I had been told about a lot of different queens that were in prison that had breasts, that were in transition. Most of those type of people were housed in a very specific prison. It wasn't like a special custody prison or anything like that, but there's like a lot of different prisons in Virginia, in the state of Virginia, and there's one prison that's like the largest in Virginia, and it has like 3 or 4 different buildings that all are big enough to actually look like its own compound. Like any prison has several different buildings, but like this particular prison, it had 3 sections of the prison that were large enough to be its own compound. So like, I guess like, say 5 buildings over here, 5 buildings over here, and then like 5 buildings over here. And it was humongous. I had never been there, but you know, I've heard a lot of people that were there, and most of the people who are like classified in the records as a transgender, they were housed there. And actually that's where Katrina had came from. She had came from that facility, and then I met her at Augustine Prison, the state facility, which is where I was at when I first got locked up. And she, you know, she was the most popular. Those are the most popular people. After her comes everybody else, comes like regular gay guys. And gay guys, they are I think in the beginning, I think every gay person is the same. They come in like how I did, like a regular guy. You're gay. Like me, I'm a gay guy. Like guys. I am comfortable being a guy. I don't mind how feminine I am, but at the same time, I'm not like shying away from the things that make me masculine, I guess you could say. And the things I'm about to suggest, it's not like girls can't do these things too, which I'm going to make that point later when I would be arguing with these guys. But in high school and in middle school, I played soccer. I ran track. I do like the outdoors. Like, I like to go hiking. I love a good adventure just in the woods. I'm not scared to cross a creek or something. I grew up in the country. You know, I'm definitely prissy, but I got a little country boy in me. You know, I'm not scared to like cross a log. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take y'all to a spot one day. I'm going to take the camera to a spot that's near my house where I used to grow up. There's like a forest around there. I made a video saying that I was going to start recording my videos there, and I had already thought in my mind I was going to take you guys to this spot. There's a creek in that forest, and it has like this log that stretches across the creek. And I used to love crossing that log and going even further deep into the woods and stuff. I like to work out. I haven't worked out in a long time, but I did work out when I was in jail, and then I worked out again when I was in prison in the cell with Cam. Actually, I used to do sit-ups and push-ups and squats. Like, those are the things that are obviously most important to me. And in the jail, they actually had a pull-up bar, and I used to do pull-ups. And they used to shock everybody all the time. And I like to jog. So, I mean, it's not like I'm just like a prissy little person. But it used to frustrate me when people would be so surprised by me jogging, for example, or when they'd see me work out, they couldn't believe it. But in my mind, I would think two things. One, women work out. Women, even if you're viewing me as a woman and you're viewing the other homosexuals as women, women work out, okay? Women like to go hiking. You have plenty of women that are straight up masculine, like boxing, you know, knock the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, the mentality in there is so ignorant and narrow-minded and stupid. And it just used to frustrate me all the time. But this is how and then my second thought was always like, also, if y'all are so attracted to me, isn't it important that I try to maintain my, like, physique? The hell is wrong with you? That doesn't happen by magic. Like, you have to actually be conscious of what you're eating. You have to try to, like, work out and maintain some level of health, you know. But whatever, just idiot people, especially as you get older. When you're younger, you have just a high metabolism, and I'm getting older. I have to really be mindful of what my intake is. Anyway, this is not the point of the video. But so when you first get in, I think all gay people are the same, because you aren't expecting the environment to be the way that it is. You come in as a regular gay guy, and as you're there, you realize that there's just certain, like, expectations. People, they start saying things like, why do you have facial hair? Or if you haven't shaved, like, for example, my hair is kind of growing in just a little bit, you know, I need to shave. I mean, I probably won't shave for probably 2-3 days, just because I like to give my skin some resting time. And I don't mind when I have facial hair. I think it looks terrible on camera, but like in person, I don't think it looks that bad. Who knows? Anyway, there's, like, if you go 2 days in jail or prison, especially prison, without shaving, not just somebody, but a couple of people, probably anybody that you talk to within the day, will be like, oh, you ain't shaved yet, you need to shave your face, or make sure to get that shit off your face, like, you know, why you got that stuff on your face? So it's like, things like that will obviously start to make you self-conscious. So it's like expected for you to be clean shaven all the time. And if you don't do it, be prepared for people to constantly say something about it. I usually, on the outside, I like to keep my knees to my neck, I guess you could say, smooth. You know, I like to keep it smooth. But like my lower leg, where my calf muscles are, I like hair on my legs. Like I said, I played soccer. I like guys with hairy legs. I mean, I'm a regular guy. You know, the only people that I knew that kind of like shave their legs are swimmers and people who have tattoos, because they like to show off their tattoos. But I didn't even actually know that until I was locked up, because I didn't really know too many people with tattoos until being locked up. Everybody has tattoos. But that was something when I would wear shorts in there. Not only the queens, oh my gosh, used to shame me, but then all the guys too, they couldn't believe that I had hair on my legs. Like, they thought it was gross and disgusting. Another thing is tucking. Tucking your penis, honey. I had shorts. I would go in the rec yard. I'd be running. When I'd come back, everybody would be making jokes about how I was flipping and flopping. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, why are you looking at that? Like, why are you even paying attention to something like that? But it's just something that is so bizarre in that type of environment. All the queens tuck their penis. To look at them, it looks like they already have had a reassignment surgery, even though none of them have. But they all tuck their penis. I did not. I'm not going to tuck my shit. Like, I don't see the point in doing that. Like, I'm not ashamed of it. I love it, you know, and frankly, if you're with me, you should love it too. So, and if you don't, then I'm with the wrong person. You know, that's just my opinion, because I'm a gay guy. I'm after guys that like guys, not guys that don't. You know, then what in the hell are we doing? You know, but this is prison. This is the way that it is. So as this type of stuff gets like, oh, and then peeing while sitting down. If they see you standing while you're peeing, or you're in the cell with somebody that sees you peeing standing up, they always will comment on that too. And some guys actually will demand that you pee sitting down. I actually had people that would actually like tell me that this is not going to work. You need to be sitting down when you pee. And that was a problem for me. That's why in the beginning of my bid, up until really I met Cam, I was moving constantly from cell to cell, pod to pod, even from one facility to the next, because I couldn't adjust to this way of thinking. Like, it's just too crazy to me. It's just too insane to me. But as the point of me saying all of that is, as these things are daily, like in your face all the time, over time, eventually it does start to make the homosexual self-conscious. And then also you have the other factor that people do like attention. People do like to be attractive. As a gay guy, obviously it is nice for me to have attention from other guys, even though it's prisoners and even though it's straight guys that actually are like charmed by me, by my feminine qualities. But nevertheless, sad as it is, it does feel good to have the attention. That's just a natural human thing. It's just natural. Whether I mean for it or not, it's just something that happens. And it happens to all the homosexuals in there. And also it's a survival thing too, because the best way that a homosexual truly thrives in prison is through the guys. The guys constantly try to give you stuff and make sure you're all right, and offer you deals with things, or just gifts. They just give you gifts. Like, you know, other guys, they have to pay for things or hustle some way in order to get it. But like a queen, a gay person like me, it's just no different than a woman. Imagine if a woman is in prison, guys are just going to be giving this woman stuff. Like, they're just going to make sure that this woman is okay. And some of that treatment, I think, comes from missing doing that. Like, sometimes I feel like it is because now you have an environment where it's just testosterone, just alpha male bullshit, and then you have this feminine person, and naturally I feel like they feel like they can't treat this person the same way as they treat this guy because they just don't act the same. But then also I think there's an added factor of missing doing that, like missing, being a provider for a woman, or taking care of a woman, or making sure that she's okay, or trying to charm a woman in these type of, like, flashy, boastful ways or something. And so here's their opportunity to do it, and I think they just kind of fall victim to it, I guess, kind of like almost like a spell or something. But it goes both ways, because obviously the homosexual like me, I enjoy it. So over time you do eventually start to, in little ways, in small little ways, over time you do start to naturally just embrace more of your feminine qualities rather than your masculine qualities. And then also something that I had actually noticed is that men in prison felt more comfortable. They actually felt more at ease around me the more feminine I was. When I actually had thought that the more I act like them, the more I'd be able to get along with them better because they're masculine. So I felt like if I had just, tried to lower my voice or just not be as animated or something, and just act a little bit more regular guyish, like I just kind of had assumed that they would feel more comfortable. But it actually made them be uncomfortable around me, like, and there would be tension, because sometimes it's like I guess they felt confused by me, or I don't know, maybe like that I'm trying to trick them, or that I'm hiding something, or maybe that's how they treat the other guys. I don't know. Maybe that's how guys in there interact with each other. Maybe even just in general, that's how guys interact with each other. I don't know. But I did notice that when I started to be more like feminine, just naturally feminine, even more so than I'm acting right now, believe it or not, more like girlish than I'm acting right now. Because this is just me normal. But in there, I did kind of play it up a little bit more, and the more that you are like that, the better it is for you, because the guys, they really like it a lot. It's actually kind of crazy. And I think in their mind, they actually really start to see you as a woman, because for me, I was just in there for 3 years. But some of these people, they're going 8 years, 10 years at a time. There would be somebody that I'm speaking to, like in the chow hall, or maybe at the rec yard, or in class, or something like that, and I'm the first homosexual that they've interacted with in 6 years. Like, there was a guy, there's a couple of people that come to mind, but there was a guy, for example, he was in a relationship with a transgender female, and that was 8 years ago, and they were in a relationship for 3 years, and then she went home, and they were like, together for a while, and eventually she went back to tricking, because that's what she used to do. She was like a prostitute in DC, as a matter of fact, and she went back to doing that, and he said that sadly she ended up getting shot and stuff. But, and I, God rest her soul, may she rest in peace, and that's a sad story. But because of that, he just kind of stepped out of the game. That's what it's called in prison, the game. I don't, it's called the game. And he just stepped out of that, and he just been hustling, wheeling, dealing, doing his time. He probably had fooled around with a person here or there. I would just guess, just from the way that, like, he was, I feel like in secret he probably did a few things with a few different guys, maybe like 2 or 3 throughout the 8 years or whatever. But when we were talking, then he told me, he's like, you're the first person I'm actually like into, and I'm speaking with. So it's a very serious thing, is my point. It's actually like a very serious thing. And as the guys treat you like this, the more the homosexual starts to see the value in being as feminine as possible. And then that's when, thankfully for me, I was only in there for 3 years. So I constantly was aware of how unnatural and unnormal this all was, and I was trying to be mindful of it, so this way I could snap back into normal when I did get out. But for people who are doing 12 years time, 15 years time, 8 years, yeah, I can see where they lose themselves. They lose concept of actual real reality and start to feel like this is actually normal. It's just very weird. It's very weird. And then by then you come out, and it's like now the damage is already done. But some of them, they really take it very far. Like they'll actually start speaking to the psych lady, the psychologist, the prison psychologist or whatever, social worker, whoever she is. They'll start speaking to her, the therapist, and telling her how, oh, I feel like I'm a woman and I need to be on hormones because I'm so confused in this body and it's just unnatural for me. And the person usually always sympathizes with the homosexual and will start giving them hormones, and now they start developing breasts. And there's been a lot of homosexuals that I met that it freaked them out and they would stop taking them. But now they have a little something, like they have like a little, just like puff, I guess you could say, up top. It's crazy. It's crazy, you know. The things that I guess that I caved in was shaving my legs, making my voice even higher than it is now, and I'm embarrassed to do it. Like, I'm just embarrassed to do it, and I don't even think that I can do it. It was just something that naturally kind of like came over time. It wasn't like I consciously did it. It's just over time I just started speaking more and more like a girl. It's weird. It's weird. And I know that my voice is already soft as it is. I am aware of this because I'm told it all the time. But, you know, so the voice had changed. I started shaving my legs. And I think that's it, really. Like, and I just kept everything smooth. Like, I had like a whole body regimen that I would do in the shower every couple of days, and you know, and then I guess like cleaning myself regularly, because out here I'm clean but not like ready for sex type of clean daily, you know. But like in there I did kind of be more mindful of just trying to be prepared, you know, just in case, because you know, I have a reputation, and it's not that I have a reputation as a hoe, but I have a reputation as a desirable queen, and I didn't want to lose that reputation, you know, even though maybe I'm not giving it to everybody and doing it with anybody, you know, just on the fly, but nevertheless, I did know that there was like a lot of guys that were, you know, talking about me all the time and trying to, you know, give me kites and notes and gifts and get to know me or something like that, and I never wanted that. I just kind of wing it with somebody or something and hope for the best, and then now they're trash talking me to everybody. Like, it's amazing how fast news can get around on a compound. Like, it always shocked me. Up until the day I left, I couldn't believe how fast something would happen 10 minutes ago in this pod, and already people on the other side of the compound are like aware of this. Like, I don't know how news travels that fast. I guess they got cell phones in there. I don't know. But that's all that I got for this video, you know, is, yeah, the most popular, like, people in prison are definitely transgenders, number one. And then number two is whoever is the most feminine. So people start trying to be as feminine as possible, even wearing makeup, getting their clothes tailored to where it's like skin tight, just like, you know, girls' clothes. I didn't do that. The only thing that I always had tight are my shirts. But I've always liked tight shirts, you know. That's just a normal thing to me. But, I kept, like, my sweatpants, they were still baggy, just regular loose baggy, and my shorts and stuff, I never tucked. Other queens, they tuck. There's a few times that I did pee sitting down, a few times, just because I would start to feel a little self-conscious sometimes, depending upon who I'm around. But then, thankfully, when I got in the cell with Cam, there was, like, a couple of times that I had peed sitting down, and Cam did not like it. Like, he thought that it was weird, which I'm glad, you know, like, because it is weird. There's no reason for me to do that, you know. But yeah. And there was one time that I almost got rid of my mustache, but thankfully I didn't at the last second. But I was looking at my mustache for the first time, and I was thinking to myself, like, maybe this does look a little bit weird that I have a mustache on my face, because all the other queens are clean shaven. Like, everybody that I'm interacting with and that I'm part of this group, like, they're all clean shaven and like, I don't know, it was just one moment, one night. I had gotten out the shower, and as I was looking in the mirror, like brushing my hair and stuff, I just thought to myself, I'm like, this does look a little bit strange. Like, maybe I should remove it. But just as I was thinking that, I was thinking to myself, like, for who? Like, who am I removing this for? For these guys? No. Like, and then that's when I didn't. Like, and then again, thankfully I met Cam, and he started encouraging me, because when we would talk about these things, he's like, you should just grow a beard. Like, I was like, okay. But it's kind of funny, you know, some of these things that used to make me feel very special, now, I don't know, I look at it and I think to myself, maybe it was less about me and more about him, actually, you know, because he's very secretive himself, and he definitely has, like, a type, and I don't really believe that I was it, like, because at the end of the day, I think I'm too feminine, because regardless of the way it appears in the public in prison, for the masculine guys that watch the channel that like regular guys, you know, because I know that that's popular in gay, like, culture, you know, it's like guy on guy type of thing rather than like feminine girly guys. It does still exist in prison, but it is very, very, very secretive. It's very secretive. Like, and the only reason I think that I even had any type of access to it is because of two things. One, because I confused people by having a mustache and then eventually having a beard. That sent a message to some of these secretive people, and then they tried me in certain ways. And it caught me off guard because I did not know. I'm very gullible sometimes. I'm gullible just too much, I guess, sometimes. You know, I try to be transparent, and I'm not gonna say I don't ever have my secrets, but I do try to be, like, honest and sincere, and, you know, what you see is what you get. I don't want people to feel, like, tricked by me. Especially as you're getting to know me. It's one thing if, like, you're a stranger or something, then it doesn't matter, but as people know me, I want people to feel like they really can believe what they know about me. And I just always expect the same, I guess, from people. Even people in prison. But definitely everyone in the real world always has their secrets. And then it is times 100 million in prison. Like, people are very, very secretive in prison, you know, but I had access to it, for one, because of the appearance that I had. It kind of sent an indirect message to people, and then for two, dating Cam gave me access to the fact that there are some guys that are not what they seem, you know. They're just not what they seem. You have some people that are like closet queens, which closet queens, that's different from what I'm talking about. Like, you have closet queens that are like guys that actually like to be a bottom, I guess you could say, take it up the butt, you know, just like a queen, but they're not a queen, so they don't want to be a queen. Like, they don't want to be associated like that. They don't want to be put on blast. They don't want, you know, guys coming at them in a way that makes them feel like a woman, because they're a regular guy, but they just like taking it like that. There's nothing wrong with that. So they have to be very secretive, and that's where you have like closet queens. And I did meet some guys like that, and I actually became really tight with someone like that when I was in the program. He was a blast. He was so funny, and he was another one that was loose. Oh my gosh, he was sleeping with everybody. And he was a closet queen. But then you have some guys where they're not quite closet queens. They're just really like just gay guys. They're just regular gay guys, you know? And they like other guys, you know? So it's like, how do you do that in prison? And they figure out secretive ways. And that's what I believe Cam was. And so then after I started dating him, I think that some of these things that like charm me, that I feel like are so special or whatever, I am not so sure nowadays that it actually was him supporting me. I think that it was kind of like a bonus for him that it made him look like he was. But really, I think he was actually trying to mold me into the type of guy he usually actually gets with. You know, like a regular guy with a beard, you know, like, I think that's actually what it is. Because keep in mind, Cam's been in there since he was 16 years old, a 16-year-old child, around these adult prisoners. And also, prison was a lot rougher when he was in versus when I came in. And initially, he was in the higher levels. And when we met, he had just came down to the level 3, you know. So I think there's a lot about Cam that I just never really knew. And even though I always tried to get it out of him, and talk to him, I think that it just became like second nature for him to just not share himself with people, you know. And also, I think that he doesn't care. I think that there's a level of him that is so removed from, like, humanity, I guess, because of the treatment that he's had for so long, since the age of 6 years old. Like, he has a very sad story, and to me, I think it's actually made him a very sad person, actually, you know. But I tried. I really have tried. And I did not mean to turn this video into a Cam thing, but, you know, I guess this is just for those of you that really, you know, kind of like click with me and, you know, watch the full thing. Because I would think that people who just were here for the topic, they probably have already, like, left. But I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Now that I've shared this about Cam, hopefully I've gotten it out of my, like, system where I can be a little bit better focused on the topics that I'm trying to share with you. So, thank you, and please be safe, please be careful with everything that's going on, and I love you guys so much.